How to repair show will start soon. Say your questions. Grab a drink. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Good afternoon, everybody. Long drive today. Very challenging roads because of the traffic again, and sheep. And I mean an awful lot of sheep. I've had suicide sheep, sheep refusing to move, sheep sleeping in the road, you name it, they've been about. So yesterday I stayed at the name of the place was Oliver's Seafood Restaurant in a village called, bear with me 1 second, Cleggan Pier or Clegg Harbour. Fantastic little location. The car park was not the best because it was on a steep gradient. So I had to put the chocks underneath the front wheels and it was still on a heck of a slope. But I had to really stick my foot down today because one of the problems here in some areas of Ireland, it's very hard to deposit grey water and also your toilets and everything else. So I pushed all the way up. Burkeye, could you bring up the map, please? I'm not going to take you outside today because it's really drizzling and you can't, well, I don't know if I'm in a scenic location or not in a scenic location because there's so much mist around. But I did have a great day driving. Now, I came up all the way to the top, and Burkeye will move the map to the location I'm in at the moment, and it's called Achill Sound. And it's a couple of islands up here which you're able to cross over from the mainland. And there's a lovely little campsite here. And you really need to take note. The UK, this is a very nice place. It's right on the edge of town, within a 5-minute, 10-minute walk to the local bars. It's a secure site. They've got everything you need here. Rubbish, toiletries, showers, and I just looked and I noticed that she runs not an Airbnb, but a bed and breakfast, and a lovely little lady, cracking host, and it was only €20 a night. Now, that's what I call a reasonable rate. I have no problems in paying that whatsoever, but when you go down to some places and they're charging 40 for a single person in a van, although it's a large van, it's a bit expensive. And the great thing about this site as well, because there are so many off-grid parking scenarios where you don't need to come into a campsite, she even charges a small fee and you can deposit your water, toiletries, or fill up with water, whatever. So it's really affordable. And it's good for the tourism in the area, I think, as well. But the stunning part of this trip was, can you zoom back down to the bottom where I showed you some footage? Now, this footage will be in a video coming up, and this was, just bear with me 1 millisecond while I catch up. This was Doo Lough Valley, and it goes up to not much more than 600-700 meters. But it's an absolute stunning part of the world. And on a cloudy, sunny day, it was well worth the slow road. And the waterfalls at the bottom, Burkeye will find that in a minute. And I can't even pronounce that. Aasleagh Falls. The salmon fishing that was going on around that area was absolutely stunning. Loads of people fishing. I saw a couple with fish on, but there's just nowhere for me to park the van in some of these locations. There are tourist places dedicated to parking, but some of the places were really, you just couldn't even pull over. The road was that narrow. And if you did pull over, someone will be asking you to move in 2 minutes because the traffic was horrendous. And when you consider it's a Tuesday, and it's it the roads are fantastic in this country, but we need to get rid of the tourists, uh, or just when I'm here. So anyway, and I did bump into a guy, but I didn't get a chance to speak to him. I only said hello through the window, and I couldn't even read what was on the side of the van, but he was an appliance engineer going out to. I think he said he was going to a farm to fix something, and we were just two cars passing on the road, and we couldn't stop for long. So anyway, had a quick chat with him. Anyway, I am now up here for a few days. I've got a lot of editing to do. I have also a lot of questions that came in on the weekend, which I haven't dealt with everyone yet, but I will get round to you over the next couple of days. We had 3 or 4 questions yesterday. My aim is to either answer them this evening, or most probably be tomorrow now, because I have to do some cooking. For the simple reason is I've got some food in the fridge which is coming up to sell by date, and I want to get it cooked, so it's out of the way, and then I can either bang it in as a ready meal in the freezer, or at least I can have a decent meal this evening without having to go to the pub. The pub last night, which I was at, which was Oliver's, right down in oh god, I keep forgetting the names of all these places. Oliver's Seafood Bar. I had fantastic salmon with crab. That was smoked salmon wrapping a crab type cocktail. And for main course, I had bass fillets, and it was superb. Good people in the pub, very hospitable. They even offered to. I needed something from the shop, and it had only just shut. And someone offered to, because the owner of the shop was out the back, and said, "Oh, I'll just go and ask her to get it you." And I didn't want to disturb her. I could wait till this morning anyway. Guinness was good. The only thing that lets the place down is the parking. It is on a slope, so do be warned. And if you turn up at 6:30 at night until early in the morning, it's free of charge. Anyway, all that being said, no point taking you outside to have a look. It's basically overcast, drizzling, and really you can't see much more than 20, 30 yards anyway. So what questions have we got today? Idris, yeah, we got a blurry day. Burkai, did you manage to get connected to your internet?
Yes, mate. Connected to my phone.
Right, okay. I'll try and read these off YouTube for the YouTube questions you put up, and you'll have to voice read any questions that have come in via email. I've also, by the way, put a link in the chat so you can see the route I took up. Matty England, good afternoon to you. You found any leprechauns? No, mate, but I found plenty of sheep. Yeah, and there was some goats I saw today, long-haired goats up on the rocks, and I also saw, I think they were llamas in someone's field, but they may have been keeping these here. I think they were llamas, very, very long neck on them. And they didn't look like they were local, but someone most probably imported them as pets or something. But the scenery around here has been absolutely stunning, Matty. Absolutely stunning, and the people are fantastic as well. It's just not the cheapest place in the world. Mr. Washer Dude, hello, good afternoon to you. I'm doing very well, mate. I'm now in a position where I'm only really 1 or 2 days drive from Donegal, and that's me taking it easy. I am going to stick to the Atlantic route coming up from Mizzen Head. Oh, by the way, for everyone, just so you can get a perspective of what I've been talking about, Burkeye will put the link to you've got two choices. There's two videos, one where I shut up and he just plays music and you just see the scenery, or the other video is the 360 video from the camera that's on the front of the vehicle, and you would be able to hear what I'm talking about. Basically, you have to put up with my rambling. I ramble a lot because it seems like I ramble a lot, but this is like 3-4 hours of video condensed into 1 hour. So you get me speaking a lot, but you've got the two choices. You can either choose to listen to me or just listen to some great music that Burkeye's put on. So those are the two videos. We've got a few more coming up for you as well. And then we're going to be into Tom's videos once Burkeye's finished editing them. And that is all about an engineer who's 76 years old, still on the tools today, fixing appliances. And he basically runs a business out of Kilrush, and he looks after the local community there. So that's that one. Right, shall we which ones do you want to bring up first, Burkeye? Emailed questions? Start with them.
We can go through them, mate.
Okay. Now, if you bring them up on screen and we wait 10-15 seconds, then I can see them clearly on YouTube. I wonder what the delay. You brought it up on screen now, so before it goes live on YouTube, it is normally a 10 to 15 second delay. So just wait and it'll come up on my screen. Yep, here it comes. Right. Oh, it's small writing. I can see it's Martin, and Martin's got a Hotpoint 8129P fridge freezer. Thermostat needs replacing. Can you read the rest of it, mate? Because it's small writing for me.
Yep, of course.
Appliance, Hotpoint 8129, P fridge freezer thermostat needs replacing. This is actually an under-counter fridge, not a fridge freezer. I need to replace the thermostat, but this is a very old model and I can't find the right one. The control knob is on the end of the thermostat casing rather than on the side, which seems to be the more common position now. Sadly, if I can't get the part, I will have to retire the fridge and replace it. Do you have any advice, please?
Burkeye, just quickly reading through that again with your eyes. Did he say it had a freezer compartment or not a freezer compartment?
No, mate, it's a under-counter fridge, he says.
Yeah, but that's what I'm meaning, under-counter fridge. Now, if it's got no freezer compartment, normally it all depends if the capillary tube goes into a tube and then runs inside the cabinet. But if it's one that clips onto a cooling plate at the back, I will find the exact thermostat for you and I will create an FAQ for you. And if Jamil's watching, make sure Jamil's got this because he'll be able to actually create the page and everything else. It's straightforward. It's usually a VT9 or a Danfoss 3 if it goes onto the plate. If it doesn't go onto the plate, then it will be a different type of thermostat. It's only regulating the actual temperature on the plate, and that controls the temperature in the fridge. I will look this up for you. It's a simple fit, even if it's the one that goes down the tube. But please note, if it is the one that goes down the tube, you are better off letting the fridge defrost. For although you don't see any ice, there will be a certain amount of ice around the pipework where the tube goes down to. And it's a good idea to leave this defrost about 7-8 hours with the door open and the fridge unplugged. So when you push the capillary tube down, it actually goes into the correct location it needs to, because you will have a tube and it will be right next to a cooling pipe. And if you don't, the further you get that away, the colder your fridge is going to become because it's unable to read the temperature it should be. The actual capillary tube should nearly be touching the actual pipe, which gets very cold, and that's how it controls the actual fridge temperature. But I'll have a look on Hotpoint's website, get the C number or J number which is associated to the part, and I will get this listed immediately for you within the next 24 hours. And we'll send you an email to the link to the page so you can actually purchase the thermostat. Next one, mate.
This is a long one.
Oh, crikey. Read it, mate. I got no chance of reading that on the screen.
Appliance, Siemens SX56T590AU dishwasher water, not spraying. Hi, I'm having some trouble with my Siemens dishwasher and came across your YouTube tutorials while working through the problem. There are no error messages. There is minimum water pressure inside. Water only dribbles out of the rotors. There are no powerful splashing sounds, which makes me think it is a possible main pump problem. The inlet flow matrix tank seems to only fill up to a maximum of about 3 inches at the bottom. I am not sure if this is typical or if it indicates an inlet solenoid problem or something else. Here is what I have attempted so far. I checked that the inlet water supply is flowing. It is nice and strong with no build-up. I checked the resistance of the inlet solenoid. It gave a reading that seemed reasonable, but I don't know exactly what resistance to expect on this. I cleaned the flow matrix, which had some built-up scum, especially around a drain pipe float valve. However, this made no obvious difference. My next idea is to remove the main pump and heater to check for obvious problems, like a loose or damaged impeller. I was hoping you could offer some insight on whether I am chasing the problem correctly, or if there is something obvious I am overlooking or should check next. Any help or advice would be greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Okay, I didn't catch the name, Burke. It was right at the beginning. What's the name of the person?
Brian.
Brian. Right, Brian, if you've got a couple of centimetres of water in the base of the machine just covering the stainless steel or the plastic, that is correct. That's the right water level. You have also done something correct anyway, which is to clean out the matrix on the left-hand side. Siemens and Bosch dishwashers, I'm going to have to look this up again for you, but I am suspecting if you have some water coming out of the spray arms and you've cleaned the spray arms as well, it's well worth taking the 2 spray arms off. Then with them off, run the machine, because that's going to allow no back pressure against the actual pump, just in case there's anything blocking it. And this would allow the water to circulate, but make sure the filter is in the machine. Yeah, and when I say the filter, I'm talking the wire mesh at the bottom with the twist scenario filter that goes in there that catches all the particles. Never run the machine without this in. This is designed to stop any crud getting through. But I am suspecting, because of these motors, and I will look this up for you, there may be a kit available for the motor, which would be a new seal impeller and maybe some other bits that go on the actual main motor. There's nothing wrong with the emptying pump. As you say, it's going through the cycle and everything else. This is a common problem that we're aware of. Hopefully it's a kit that you have to buy, but on some occasions, as I keep saying to you, manufacturers will not sell the pump part. They sell it complete with the motor. But I'm not going to knock Siemens yet until I actually see if it's a complete pump refurbishment kit, or they are selling it with the motor. The kit should only be about £30-40. Oh, well done, Burke. Okay, not that one, mate. You need to go to where the motor is. Click on the next diagram. No. Right, that's the filter you can see in the bottom left-hand side. That needs to always be fixed down. Now go to the next diagram, Burke. We're looking for the motor. There we go. Can you zoom in slightly on the motor? Now, I would have to have a look at the individual components there. The 0455 is actually the drain pump. The main motor is, can you go to the right of that picture a bit? Right, they haven't put the main motor part number there. Oh, yes, they have. I think that's the Jubilee clip, which is 0450. But there may be a kit here, and I would have to look this up. But it could be the complete motor assembly. So I'm not sure until I go in, but I will look it up for you. Those are the parts. That's the matrix to the left-hand side. And that's what you've already cleaned. So I'm pretty sure you will find it's actually the pump impeller, but let's hope they do it as a kit, not as the complete motor, because if it's a complete motor, I bet you it's going to be a lot of money. But I'll look at that later for you and reply to that with an FAQ for you with the correct part as well. Just give me 36 to 48 hours and we will have this done for you. Okay, so that one's done. Next one, mate. And now it's coming up clear. It's amazing. This internet sometimes is perfect and sometimes is rubbish. Sanskriti? Yeah, Sanskriti, I think.
Yeah.
Appliance Medallion. That's not a UK model at all, I don't think. What's the telephone number? Is it UK or where's it from?
It wasn't a UK made. It's overseas.
It wasn't UK. So what was the STT code, the dialing code?
Just a sec. Plus 49.
49. That's Germany, isn't it? I think.
It
Let
must
me just check. I'm just curious where that is from. 0049 dialing code.
Yes, it is. Germany.
Yeah, I thought I recognised it. Yeah, so that's not a UK model, so I'm going to have to do some research on this for you. Anyway, let's look at what you have as for a problem. You've got an SGW 860A2 dishwasher. Have a screw that fell below the door. Hi, I was cleaning my dishwasher. The door seal at the bottom fell inside the cavity between the door and the bottom of the machine. Door, the bottom. Oh, right. Okay, the plastic bit at the front, possibly. To try and remove it, I attempted to open the top part of the door. However, some screws also fell inside. Right. Look, the only way I'm going to understand what you've done here is with a video. And what I suggest you do is use your mobile phone. I might be able to get you technical diagrams, but if it's fallen in between the door and the base of the machine, the bottom half of the machine has to come off to retrieve it. You are asking me a very difficult one here, not only because I do not know the machine brand, but looking at that number, I got a funny feeling it might be a Smeg, which is rebadged Medallion. But without having the schematics up in front of me, I've got no chance whatsoever. And without seeing exactly what you've done, I have a very difficult, this is the hard part of having questions sent in to me. I can only do my best and point you in the right direction. But from what you've described here, it sounds like the parts have actually gone down into the plastic base of the machine. And you're going to have to somehow get in there to retrieve either the seal and the screws, and then make sure you're putting the machine back together so the door shuts. I'm sorry I can't be more help on this show with that. It's just very, very difficult for me to diagnose what you've done to rectify the problem. and especially over the internet. If I had the machine in front of me, I've got a fighting chance. But without the machine, and of course, you're not going to bring it to me from Germany. So the only way I can assist you here really is with a video. So upload a video to your own personal account, send it to us via the contact us page on the website, or even if we've got your telephone number, I might even give you a call. But I don't know if you're only in, well, you'll be an hour's difference to the UK. So if your English is perfect, then I might be able to have a WhatsApp telephone call with you. I know you've typed this correctly in English, but I don't know if you speak perfect English, because a lot of people now use automatic translates and everything. So I can only assume that you speak reasonable English. So I'll try and contact you with regards to this, or send us a video. Okay, next one, mate.
All right, mate. We are done with the questions, so if you want, we can go back to the comments. And surprisingly,
Yeah, just go through. I could really do with an early day today, because we did 2 hours yesterday. Galdar Island, what a shame about the weather. This side of the country is melting in the sun. Galdar, I can't remember which side you're from, mate. I'm now up, as I said, Achill. It's warm. It's 20 degrees, but it's, shall we say, pea soup. I think pea soup is the best way of describing it. It's that misty type of drizzle. Occasionally we get a spurt of sunshine, but the visibility is not that great. But I did have a fantastic trip up over the Doo Lough Valley. That is a part of the world I could spend some time in. The fishing looks incredible, and also, the whole place was stunning. And there's a whole mountain range around there with lots of roads going off in every direction. And it would have been a great place to spend a couple of days. I've come up to Achill Island for the simple reason someone, when I first started doing live streams, sent a donation in and said, make sure you buy a beer. And he takes his family down here on a regular basis. And that was Darren. I must send him an email when I go into a pub to show him a picture that I'm drinking his donation. So anyway, but even with the weather like this, it's still a stunning part of the country, mate. Anyway, next one. Idris, AI can be sometimes brilliant and sometimes rubbish as well. Well, I've been using AI because of dyslexia. Let me give you an example. Some technical manuals are over 150 pages. So what I do with AI is I will upload a PDF of that document to AI. And I need to do a video on this to explain to people, because it's a really good thing to have in your whichever AI you use on a regular basis. So if you use Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, you have a capability of uploading documents to that. And you could even save it in your Google Drive, for example. All the manuals for all the appliances you've ever got could be uploaded into a file. And then you could start asking AI relative questions with regards to this document. So, for example, if it was a technical manual and you had an F3 error code, you would ask it, looking at this manual and any other documentation that you can find on the internet, please explain to me what the F3 error code means and find me relevant pages in the manual for me to look at, so to help me diagnose the problem. It is very good at things like that. It is also very, very good with regards what I'm doing traveling. Now, if I give it a start point and a finish point, and then I tell it what I want to do for the period of time that I'm driving, I would turn around to it and say, right, I've got 8 hours to get here. I know it's only 200 kilometers. could you find me places to that are worth stopping and seeing? Also find me a place after sometime around midday that's got good recommendations for whatever type of food I want to eat, and it will plan a whole trip for you. And it's, it even finds me the camper parking and stuff like that, and facilities. It is very good when it comes to that. And this show is also very good. I've had so many emails from the Irish community to go and visit Valley, which came in too late down the bottom end of the island. And it's a valley that never had electricity until 1970. And the person who sent the message said it's a stunning valley, but of course I'd already travelled past that point, so I wasn't going back to see it. I'll have to wait for another trip to go and see that. But there's been so many people helping in the community. It's been absolutely brilliant. And it's a joy to interact with you. Darren, who got me coming up to this place, so many people are helping with my travels, and I'm getting so many invites to different companies within Ireland to go and see. I only just had an email the other day, and bear with me 1 second while I bring this up. I had a guy from Cork, Mr. Burke, and he's a service engineer in ION Appliances in the Cork area, and they're a family-run business since 1994, I believe. And he basically sent me an email saying he was going on holiday, so he couldn't invite me to call by. So I missed out on meeting him, but next time I'm over, I will be speaking to him, because it's another engineer that runs a family business which has been around for 30 odd years in Cork area. I've had people like yourself coming on a regular basis. It's just amazing how much interaction I'm getting. So anyway, thanks very much for that. Idris, no, what was that one? Dan Talpa, 254, good afternoon to you, sir. What do you think about the LG washing machines? Right, let me explain with LG. Accessibility to the washing machine is brilliant. If they are on promotion with a 5-year guarantee, they are brilliant. They are also one of my favorite machines because they have a splittable drum, meaning that you can actually gain access to the outer drum and inner drum. You can change the spider, you can change the bearings. Ease to work on, exceptional. Where they go wrong is the manufacturer. And so many of these manufacturers will do so many good things and then go and bugger it all up by doing something ludicrous. These machines are very hard to get hold of technical data on them. Their prices of parts are affordable throughout most of the parts on the machine. But when it comes to the printed circuit board, they are very expensive, nearly at the same level as Bosch. But the crazy thing about these LG machines, I know why they do it, but it stops you repairing a circuit board if you are technically minded. For me to change a link switch, a diode, a resistor, because it may have burnt, is not a difficult job. But the LG and Samsung washing machine boards are encapsulated in silicon. So not only is it difficult to replace the parts, it is also difficult to diagnose the problem with the parts, because you can't get a multimeter onto the terminal to read if a diode is operating correctly or a resistor has got the correct ohms reading. So it is a nightmare, and their circuit boards are expensive. So they let themselves down with no technical information, and they let themselves down with the cost of the circuit board. But other components like pumps, door seals, and so on are quite affordable. They're not ridiculously priced. They're priced at a fair marketplace. But so many companies. If you look at Bosch, they build a great cabinet, great washing machine. but they build obsolescence in by sealed washing machine drums. They do expensive PCBs, expensive motors, and expensive drums. I mean, the drums are just ludicrous. You can buy a Bosch washing machine for £399 with a 5-year guarantee. If the bearings go in the machine, the manufacturer is trying to charge you £320 or £360 for the complete drum assembly, knowing full well you're not going to spend the money, but they are complying with the Right to Repair Act, which is legislation which was put in place to protect the consumer. But all they have actually done in the old legislation is state to manufacturers they must supply parts for a 10-year period. They haven't put any legislation in place that they must sell affordable parts. Now, Burkeye is working on a video at the moment, which is the German translation of what has come into play this year within Europe. And the new legislation does clearly say it must not only have parts supplied for 10 years, it must be reasonably priced parts. In other words, what they're doing with these sealed drums, I think, will become illegal. And a good class action suit or legal, or even the government's fining the company for doing this, will be a move in the right direction, because these companies need to look after the general public much more than they're doing at the moment. All they're actually doing at the moment is looking after the shareholders, and the accountants are making profit. So there needs to be a lot more accountability. But there you go, LG machines, Dan. Pretty good, mate, especially when, but again, do not buy any machine that does not come with a full 5-year parts and labor warranty. Okay, next one. Let me just get a drink a second. Idris, I am using AI because I'm almost blind, and it describes the image. Very good use of AI. Very, very good use. Yeah. AI, for example, with my dyslexia, it will read documents to me. Certain things absorb into my brain and certain things don't absorb into my brain. This is why I've only read maybe 4 or 5 books in my life. When I say books, novels, and so on. And most of those were autobiographies because I was interested in the person. When I have great interest in something, my brain absorbs the data. So regards to technical manuals and stuff like that, I can absorb stuff. And AI is very good. Rather than me concentrating on trying to read it, I will just tell it to read paragraph 1 to page 30. And I might even describe to it, I'm only interested in the technical error codes or the disassembly of the machine, and it will read it to me. And that's very useful. And it will also create me specific documents to help other people, so I'm not in breach of any copyrights and stuff like that, because some of these manufacturers really jump all over you. Jill girl, how are you doing? I just marked you down to my favorites because I believe you're running a show tomorrow. So I will be jumping in on that as long as I'm not inundated with work. But thanks for dropping in. I'm doing Doc's class this evening at 7, and I know you do a class as well on the next day. But no, and you'll be able to answer a question for me, Jill. And Burkeye will jump in here because he'll be able to explain it better. We can't go to our commercial page live streaming with Facebook. We are able to live stream to Instagram, YouTube, no problem at all. But we're having a problem. What's the problem you're having, Burkeye?
Well, actually, it doesn't show any specific error code. It just says if you're not connected to Facebook. I can connect to Instagram without any problem, but I cannot connect to Facebook. That's the problem I'm having right now.
And that's because you're not connecting to my personal page, you're connecting to the business page for the business, yeah?
I assume that way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be picking your brains tomorrow afternoon, girls. So stand by to get stamped on. How's the Scottish going, by the way? She'll know the joke. Okay, next one. Oh, you again. I love that you share how to use AI. Yeah, look, I use Jill. We all use AI in different ways. We've created some great, what would we call it, B-roll with creating videos. So sometimes we might need images of a twin tub from 1970s. So we ask it to create an image that I might have in a sepia type format and turn it into a 5-second or 10-second B-roll to use in the video. We also have an AI replica of me, which sounds pretty close. I mean, we've done a couple of the Hotpoint video and the Hoover video was totally my script, Burkeye's talent with regards editing, and an AI voice auto-generated. You know, it's understanding the limitations. And as I always say, you know, there's a lot of people against AI, but man invented the gun to assist him in hunting and shooting to get food for his table. But yet man turned it upon himself. You know, all these tools are brilliant, but when they put into the hands of very large corporations like the domestic appliance industry, they are using it to greenwash the general public. They're also, when it's left in the hands of politicians, they basically, you know, they use it for the wrong purposes. Commercial page. Facebook is tricky sometimes. It may be a permissions issue. Okay, well, we'll go into that another time because this is appliances, not Ecamm. But do appreciate you dropping in, Jill, and I will be contacting you with regards to that. So much appreciated. Sorry about the football last night. Pity Donald couldn't get it overturned. Next one, mate.
All right, mate. That's it. We are up to date.
No. What did you think about that, Burkeye, as well? Having a government official, a president, interfering with FIFA with regards getting a player let back on the pitch.
It's ridiculous, mate. It's a joke. I can't say anything.
Yeah. I mean, he made a mockery of the whole thing by doing it. But, you know, he makes a mockery of a lot of things in the world. But we're not going to go into politics today. We're appliances. Any others, mate?
No, mate.
No? Well, we can have an early day for a change because we streamed for 2 hours yesterday. Look, when I get up to Donegal, I will be reducing the amount of streams that I do on a weekly basis. And this is because it is taking its toll on myself, Burkeye, because Burkeye is 2 hours difference from me. So it is most probably 7:40 your time, Burkeye, is it?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And when we stream for 2.5 hours, you know, it's 9 o'clock at night. And Jamil is covering the weekends as well. So I think I'm going to step it down to a reasonable workflow, which will be, I think, 3 days a week. I'm going to have no problems in dealing with. We'll do a Monday afternoon stream, a midweek stream, and possibly a Friday stream. And maybe even the occasional show on a Sunday, but that will be you know, as I said to you, when I get to the workshops now, I've got some tools where I can run multiple cameras, and we're going to be doing some videos for you with you telling me what you want to see on a washing machine. So we'll buy a brand. I'll use my own money for this. We'll buy a maker machine. I'll put it on the workbench, and we'll do a tear down video to see how well it's constructed. And I'll also do some other videos on the machine as well to compare it to a 1970s machine on how much money it really saves with the expected lifespan on the machine. We'll also do some other videos on the machine, a review video, which I always do when I buy a machine in. And I think I need to do a lot more of these review videos, because trying to steer you in the right direction when it comes to the purchasing of a machine is a very difficult thing. So I will be doing all this for you. I should be back in the workshop by this time next month. I've got to go to Donegal, I've got to go to Derry, I've got to go to Glasgow, I've got to go to Grimsby, and then I'll be going to either Birmingham or Colchester and Swansea as well to visit all the partners. Because the one thing you're really, really going to love is this series of videos that I've done with regards Tom, and having a look at an appliance legend in County Clare. I went out with him for 4 days on the van, going out to visit customers, rectify problems with machines and other bits and pieces, and we made some fantastic content. And the problem being is you stick 2 old farts in a van, driving around the community fixing appliances. Some of the stories that come out when we were recording, and this was just natural, is incredible. When I watch them now, it's just creasing me up. I just couldn't believe how well it came out. And Burkeye is having a laugh and a half editing them. So yeah, exceptional content, but a lot of work we went to.
Yeah, I couldn't
Anyway,
stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing, mate. It was very, very funny.
well, when do you reckon the first one's going to be ready?
I don't know. I can't promise any time. I have lots
Right,
of.
that's not right. Okay, I won't put you on the spot. Okay, so anyway, we've already uploaded a couple of the travel videos. They're there. We've got the repair that I had to do on the van. That's ready to go live, but I'm going to hold that back for a couple of days. And then we've got some other content coming out for you as well. And I'll be in Donegal by then, so I can start doing some recording with Barry and having a look at what the repair industry looks like from the eyes of someone in Donegal area. And he runs a totally different type of business. They have multiple service engineers and multiple people on the road. Tom was an individual that just ran a one-man band show. So there's going to be a lot of content coming up over the next few weeks. Anyway, no other questions before I go, Burkeye?
Before you go, Jill dropped another comment, and I think we can end the broadcast with her beautiful sentence. She said,
Right, oh God almighty. I need a preview button, mate. I need a preview button.
No, it's not, you don't need it. She says,
Okay.
our family is so incredibly embarrassed because of Trump.
Yeah. Well, look, the great thing about America compared to the UK, and this is the only advantage and the only thing, in the UK, our media stirs things up to a point that we end up with internal battles going on within our own party. So if it's Labour Party, Conservative Party, whatever. And sometimes prime ministers don't get to stay the course of time because the press stir things up, and the internal politics stir things up, and then we end up changing the person who was elected, meaning he didn't get the 4 years that he was voted in for, and therefore lots of things don't get done. And I think this is one of the big problems in the UK. Now, you lot vote an idiot in, and you're stuck with him for 4 years. So it's a total different thing. Some people like him, and I'm not going into politics. He's not my cup of tea. And, I don't like seeing half the trouble that's going on in the world. And there's a lot of people making a lot of money out of oil, especially with this turbulent market, that 1 minute we're all shaking hands and patting each other on the back, and the next morning they're all at war again. So someone is making a lot of money out of this. And the big problem in this world today is there's no accountability with this very wealthy politicians. There is no accountability in the world, and it's wrong. You only have to go back to World War II and look at the genocide that was committed and see how many people were held accountable and were killed because they had done such catastrophic things. In today's society, it doesn't look like anyone is accountable anymore. But I'm not going into this. I got enough appliance manufacturers that hate me without starting to turn the wrath of, shall we say, politicians into it. So let's just drop the subject. Anyway, thanks very much for you all. Sorry it's a short show today, but I'm really glad I'm going to have some time to get this van up together, cleaned, and get some cooking done. So I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Take care all. Ciao. Bye-bye.